All right. Hey guys, I've never done a live broadcast on the internet before, but here we are. I got a shipment yesterday, which I can't wait to open. And this has 100 knife blanks in it from our supplier. So figured we would show us opening it up and checking out the 100 blades that we got. So these are going to be ready to go to the molder. And our molder's in Michigan. And we will send these up there, and then the molder will then put a handle on these. So the tooling for the mold takes a long time to make, and that tooling should be done in like February, March for the bowl, and at the end of February, early March for the bowl and the knife. So we're excited that these samples came in, weren't lost in transit or anything. So this is probably quality inspection report. I'm here with Rachel too.
And the gloves are so we don't get them dirty, right? Or fingerprints or something? Is that why we're running these?
Yeah, so the stainless steel, since it's polished, we have these gloves so they don't collect our fingerprints and the oils on our fingers. So individually wrapped.
Got the sheath on there. Looks nice.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
First impression's beautiful. There I am. Hi guys. So on the sheath we got, I don't know if it's going to focus or not. Got caution, sharp edge here.
Pretty snug on there.
And then if you stretch it around the corner, oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
That looks great.
Very cool. So our handle will be covering all this stuff. So these are up here to help lock that handle into place. So the plastic will actually flow through this slot here, and then that will keep it permanently fixed. So, you know, if you drop it or anything, you're really going to have to work pretty hard to get that off. Awesome. That's gorgeous. Number one looks great.
You said 100 came in this batch?
Yep.
How long did that take for them to make these, do you know? To produce this
Man, that finish is beautiful.
batch of them?
This one took 3 weeks. Some back and forth. So with our quality inspection process so far, I mean, everything, we're just kind of winging it. Based off my experience in pharma for the last 10 years, it's probably a little bit overkill.
So not winging it, really.
Well, not winging it, but we're making it up as we go.
Yeah. Well, you're developing the protocol.
Yeah. So I have some prototypes over here, which I'll show you in a minute. But that kind of can show the history of the development process for this blade. So now you see kind of the finished product, but before we were nowhere near this. So what I typically do with for my quality inspection, I have a set of calipers here. And then some really important dimensions, for example, are the thickness here where the handle is going to end up. If it's too thin, you're going to have plastic flow along this side of the knife, which you don't want. And if it's too thick, you're going to have extra plastic around the outside of the handle. So you really have to have really tight tolerance along that thickness of the blade here. So that's been a manufacturing challenge, but it appears that based on their internal testing and what's shown in this quality defect report and through our emails, that it looks like they are able to meet that specification that we've set. So that's awesome. The molder's going to love it. So kind of the next step here, after going through all these, I'll kind of do a first glance. You can see we got tons of them. This takes a long time, but obviously I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that every knife that goes out in this initial batch is up to snuff. But our next step, we're going to send all these 100 blanks to our molder, and then they're going to use really fancy equipment, not a set of calipers, to take more detailed measurements. So I think it's called like a CMM machine, and they have like optical measurement systems that they'll be able to get down to nanometer type dimensions if we need to. So with that said, I think it's kind of fun to look at the history of this. So Corbin, our designer, one of our CAD designers that's helping out with this was made in his garage, and it's awesome. Corbin loves to tinker, so that's the kind of guy you want if you're doing a startup and prototyping. And this was some sheet steel that we bought from a random company in Chicago, and then we had it stamped locally here in Fort Wayne. So that by stamping, that means you cut this out. And now that I say stamped, I think it was actually laser cut. Regardless, though, so we had that laser cut, and then we had a kind of a flat piece, but it didn't have an edge. And then we made the best edge we could with what we had in Corbin's garage. So this is not sharp, but it kind of was a good way to test. This was probably about a year ago that we made this. It's just kind of fun. And this was before we had the slot too. So yeah, you can kind of see from this to that in the course of a year. Yeah, it's and our partner has just been phenomenal. And you can see kind of with any new product, right, you're going to have to develop the manufacturing process. So before you get to this was kind of version 1. And this is super sharp, and it works. But with having to make a new knife like this, I mean, we're the first people in the world to have this shape of a knife with like the curved edges and stuff. So after this was punched out, they put an edge on this to the best they could at the time. And then you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to get the reflection here, but it was really hard to get a consistent grind line here without like a fixture or something to help guide it. So just done by hand, this obviously does a really good job of cutting, and it's extremely sharp. But if you compare that and the finish here, you can see how the grind lines are kind of swirling. So we went back and forth after probably 3 or 4 iterations, and you can see now we've ended up with this. So comparing the grind line, now we have a really defined line compared to this. So they have, again, they've just been an incredible partner to work with, and their ability to make changes based off what we ask has been top notch so far. So yeah, we're going to be busy here. Rachel can certainly help me go through these and do a first pass inspection.
Yeah, the sidekick here. Ready to roll. We've got some work to do.
Yeah. I guess I haven't talked about the sheath much. While I'm live, I might as well. So this was version 3, so 3 times a charm on the sheath design. And the first one we had, we were only going to, it's upstairs. I guess I could go get it. It only covered, the bottom part of the edge here. And what we were hoping was that there was enough friction to keep that part on. And what we found after doing a prototype mold, that part just popped off. So we learned quick, but that's part of the joy of innovation, is that fail fast and fail early, and that's going to lead to success. So we failed with that the first time. Then the second time, what we were hoping is by adding more surface contact area here, we were hoping that it would be enough without having to close off both ends of the sheath. And when we did that with the open one, that one also popped off, unfortunately. So we tried a lot of different, it's called durometers of silicone. Sorry, I'm getting into my engineering speak here. But basically how flexible, how stretchy the different silicons are. And ultimately, we discovered that the best way to keep this secured and help protect the operators who are going to be handling it is to kind of envelope both edges. And then we chose a really stretchy material. So if you do want to use this over time, you can certainly stretch it over the corner, and you're not going to cut. But if you just try to pop it on, you're running into the rubber there. So that's going to be not ideal. But yeah, that's kind of the history of the sheath. So the third time's a charm, and now we have something that we're really happy with, and it's going to, again, protect the operators at the molding company, because they're going to have to install this into the machine, and we don't want them having to deal with a sharp blade or having a sheath that's going to pop off. So
it's impressive, but even
you want to do a shake test?
Really full, yeah. It doesn't shake off, but even pulling it, it really doesn't pull off. So
all right, well, I think that's good for a first live stream. We'll probably share this afterwards, I guess, but glad you guys could join us. This is a really exciting time for us, and like I said, we're gonna have a lot of fun going through all 100 of these. All right, we'll see you guys.